With a little planning and some simple materials, you can have your garden watering system fully automated. No more carrying around heavy watering cans, no more dragging around hoses all over your garden. I'm going to show you how to install a drip irrigation system so you can save time and water and keep your plants happy and hydrated. Hey friends, if you're new here, hi, my name is Whitney and I help you DIY a cozy home with home projects like this, home product reviews, interior design tips. This is part 3 of my raised garden bed series. In part 1, I showed you how to design the prep work, what materials you needed to design your raised beds. Part 2, we talked about how to actually construct your beds. And this is part 3. A drip irrigation system is a must for a raised garden bed like this. And once you have it all set up, you're gonna thank yourself and you're gonna wonder, how did I ever garden without one? If you like videos like this, please give this one a big thumbs up. It helps me out a lot. And consider subscribing. I'd love to have you join my journey and I'd love to have you here. Drip systems are so important, especially for raised garden beds, because they supply water directly to the roots of your plants. Raised garden beds tend to dry out way quicker than plants that you have directly in the soil. So raised garden beds need consistent watering pretty much daily. Now you can use a drip system anywhere. You can use it in the ground, you can use it in raised beds, you can use it in pots that you set out on your porch. You can use it anywhere, especially if you are going to use a drip system like this for pots. Stay tuned to the end of the video because I have a solar powered drip system that I use for my garden in the city, and it's amazing. Like, I love this little thing. You can get it on Amazon. When thinking about doing a drip irrigation system, you only need to really think about 2 things. The first one is how to get your water from your hose spigot, from the source, like a spigot on the side of your house, to the garden, and then how to get the water from that supply line to your plants. It's really the only 2 things you really need to figure out, and there are multiple ways to do that. So let's talk about them now. So if you're starting from scratch, I would definitely say get some sort of kit. I've tried a couple different beginner kits off of Amazon, and the one that I keep coming back to that I keep liking is the Rainbird kit. I'll have everything that I'm talking about linked below if you want to create a system like this. But I found that Rainbird is probably the best for drip system type stuff. They fully integrate into each other and it's very easy to build on. Like, for example, I bought this. This is not the beginner kit. This is the like repair and expansion kit. So if you've maximized what you can do with the beginner kit and you need to add on to it, that little thing is pretty awesome. So however you decide to split off from your spigot, if you're going to do a timer, just a Y split, or if you're going to put your supply directly to your spigot, you're going to need this little set of accoutrements. This is everything you need to get set up. But how it goes, you have a mesh filter, a backflow preventer, 25 psi pressure regulator, and then the 1/2-inch tubing adapter. So if you weren't sure what a backflow preventer is, because I wasn't, it basically stops any of the water that has already come out of your house into the hose from going back into your house, right? Because you don't want like the water that's been sitting in your hose to get sucked back into your house and come out of your kitchen sink. So that prevents that from happening. And then the pressure reducer, pressure regulator thing just cuts down the pressure of what's going to be going through your hose, because this is a drip system. You're literally just dripping out water. You don't need full blast, on your little plants. You just need a little drip. So the pressure reducer does that. So this is 1/2-inch supply line. This connects right into here. So the way that a lot of these work are a twist lock. So when you put your supply line on, you're going to wiggle it over this barb right here, and then you'll twist this down to lock it in place. Then off of this supply line, you can either run your 1/4-inch distribution line, or you can run, this is called drip tape. So in order to connect your 1/4-inch distribution line to your 1/2-inch supply line, you're going to need a little barb like this. And the way you insert it is you put it into the end and then you press it into your supply line just like this. And then you put your 1/4-inch distribution line right over the barb. And then at the end of your distribution line, you have options. You have these little drippers that you can connect right into the end. This is a 1/2 gallon an hour. This is 1 gallon, and this is 2 gallons an hour. So you just, again, connect the other side of your distribution tubing onto whatever end you want. So you have your main supply line, your distribution line, and then whatever sort of end you want to go to your plants. I'll show you a couple different sprayers and bubblers, but this is basically the same idea that you're going to do if you're going to be running a distribution line off of your main supply line. Now this is drip line. You'll see that there are emitters along the drip line. In order to connect your drip line to your distribution line, you need this little guy. And I'm going to show you how to do this here in just a little bit, but it's pretty much the same idea. You're connecting it like this. So this is great if you're wanting to spot water certain plants' roots. This one is great if you're trying to cover a larger area or rows of plants. Now these connectors do the exact same thing. They're just from different companies and they're designed a little bit differently. The Rainbird ones are pressure fit. So all you have to do is put your 1/2-inch supply line in, wiggle it in until it's a tight fit and it won't pull out. These type of connectors are again the twist lock. So you put your supply line on over the barb and then you twist lock them down. One of the biggest benefits of having a drip system is that it can be fully automated. So the one thing that you're going to want to get in addition to all of your drip supply items is a timer. Now I've tried 2 different types of timers. This one only has 2 outs. This is great if you have just one supply line and then you want to hook up a hose to the other out. And this one has 4. The one with the 4 is a little bit more sophisticated. You can create multiple different watering schemes, different days, different zones. It's pretty robust. 4 zones, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could have different cycles. So water day, you can go through here and set, you know, every day, every other day. This video is not an instructional video on how to set up this actual mechanism. They do come with really detailed instructions that are very, very easy to follow. But I just wanted to give you a quick overview of the capabilities of what this can do. But the one that has just the 2 outs is perfect as well. It really just depends on how big your garden is and how many different zones you got going on. I highly recommend drawing yourself some sort of layout like this so you can measure how much supply line you're going to need, because the worst thing is you get going and you didn't order enough 1/2-inch tubing, you didn't order enough 1/4-inch tubing, you didn't order enough elbows, and then you get stuck. So draw a little layout, then measure, you know, how much stuff you're going to need. Make a little plan. And then when you start to like put it together, you'll have everything you need. So off of your spigot, you have this whole little system done. You're gonna run your 1/2-inch supply line out to where you're gonna go. And at the end of that supply line, you're gonna put a little cappy poo. If you're gonna do any serious drip line, you're gonna need to buy a bigger roll, because that kit only gives you, I think, 25 feet, which doesn't really go very far. So get a roll of like a 500-foot line and you'll have plenty. Also, when you're opening these up, leave the plastic wrap on, because if you take the plastic wrap off and cut all of the binding ties, the whole roll is going to go poof, it's going to unspool, and then it's going to become a mess. I'm going to show you how I designed my drip system for my raised beds. I'm cutting the main 1/2-inch supply line to insert a T-split. I chose to hide the supply line by running it on the inside of my beds, but if you already have your beds built, you can run this along the outside. The Rainbird connectors are pressure fit, so you just need to wiggle the end of the supply line into the connector. If you're running your line on the inside of your bed, then create a little hole in your hardware cloth for the supply line to come in. It's going to connect from here, go in here, and the one that's going to come up alongside. To make it easier for the supply line to go over the barb, you can soak the end of the supply line in some hot water. This helps the plastic become more malleable and can make it easier to slide on over the barb. Now I'm connecting that piece we just made to the main supply line. Be careful not to get any dirt or gravel in your line when doing this. You can even wrap some tape around the end to ensure the hose stays free of any debris. Now I'm just securing that line on the inside using simple U-straps. So now we have the main vertical line being pulled off the supply line. We just need to create the horizontal run that the drip line is going to pull from. So one mistake I made here that I'll probably correct in the future is I made these a little bit too high. Next time I'll make them roughly the height of the soil, not the height of the bed. So you see over here how I made everything pretty level with the edge of the bed? I shouldn't have done that. I should have taken this down a couple inches, so then these would have been level with the soil. So this is the main supply line. And then these are our drip lines coming off of that. So what you're gonna need for the drip portion is your drip tubing with your emitters. Keep in mind, all of the emitters are gonna always face up. Some of these can be buried with mulch, but even when you bury them, the emitters need to be facing up. Then you're gonna need these little guys. These are how you start the drip line. I'm gonna show you how to do it here in just a second. Then you need these. These are your end clamps. This is how it stops the flow of water. So you need a package of those. And then you need some like fabric staples to just kind of hold your drip line in place. So what you do need to keep in mind is that the space between the emitters will vary on different drip line. It just depends on what your needs are. So I already have 2 lines started over here. I'm going to put 2 more over here. So if there's an emitter here, you can't start it when it's this close, or it won't clamp on to your starting head very well and you'll have a leak. So you got to cut that emitter off. If you were wondering, I cut a section of the drip tube open. This is what the emitter looks like. When you're starting, make sure that the screw is all the way up towards the top. And we're just gonna slip our tubing on there as far as you can go, and then kind of hold it in place. And then we're gonna screw down the little green part over the tube so it's in there. It's not going anywhere. It's airtight, waterproof, so you're not going to get leaks in here. If you do get a leak in here when you test it, you probably are too close to an emitter. So just take it off and redo it. In order to get this into your supply line, you have to punch a hole. Now I started doing this without this tool and it was a headache. So I bought the tool. The tool is 100% worth it. I think it's maybe 10 bucks. Get the hole punch. So you just set it where you want it to go. Clamp down, and that's it. And now you're gonna punch your little barbed end into the hole you just made. It does take a little bit of muscle, and you'll hear it snap into place, and you're good to go. Now when you get to the end, you're gonna cut it right at an emitter. Then the way this works is you thread it through the small end, and then you flip this under and push it back through so it creates like a tight kink, and then you're done. Now for the exciting part. Once you have everything set up, you're gonna flush it all out, you're gonna cap it, and then you're gonna turn it on. Turn that hose on and make sure that all of your bubblers, your emitters, your drip line has pressure running to it. You have no leaks. If you do have any leaks, just fix those. If there's not enough pressure going to certain emitters, figure out why. Now, after you've tested your system and you make sure there are no leaks, you can bury that supply line so you have a clean looking garden. I ordered this solar powered drip system off Amazon. Water my plants here in the backyard while I'm on vacation. I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. So hopefully this will be enough. I'm going to put my main solar panel up here. This is my main leader line. And then I'm going to cut off from this main line. Super simple. This is the main leader. I have all of my little side shoots and my emitters into all my plants. I'm going to put an emitter for this one right here. So I'm going to cut my main line. And this is a T side is connected. Make sure it's all the way connected to the square box. All right, that side is connected. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my emitter on. Put the emitter in the plant. And then I'm going to come down and see what length I need and cut it to length. And again, just slip it right over the T-barb. Make sure you get it all the way on there. All right, here we go. Okay, so it is running. There's my water source it is coming from. I do need to get an extension kit so I can make it to all of these. This kit only has 10 emitters. It's working. Yeah, so the water comes out through here and just kind of drips down the, the line. And that is it. You have successfully installed your drip irrigation system. You've saved yourself so much time and effort from manually watering everything, and your plants are going to thrive because they're getting what they need. Plants need consistent watering. If you have a problem in your garden, your stuff isn't fully growing, it's probably because it hasn't had consistent watering. Now, the only thing you really need to do is the fun part. You can prune, you can weed, you can feed all your stuff, and then you can enjoy the fruits literally of your labor. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you on the next one. Bye.